I see them everywhere. Everywhere. Is that because they actually are everywhere? All right, so picture this. I was 18 years old. I was lying back on a leather chair, like the ones that you sit in at the dentist's office. I was on a leather chair. Don't remember, it might have been fake leather. It felt old, it felt a bit rough under my skin. And I was leaning back and I had my drawing in my hand. So I had worked hard on this little drawing and, had all the little clean pencil lines and all the clear colors in it. And I handed it to the artist. And I said, I want this on my ankle. And that was when I got my very first tattoo. I was just outside of a city called San Luis Obispo. I don't know if you guys know where that is. Very few people do. We used to call it Slow Town in California. It was where I had just started going to uni or university or college, depending on where you are and you're listening to this. And I was really excited to get my very first tattoo. And man, did it hurt. But I gripped my teeth and I just got in there and let it happen. And then suddenly it seemed to be everywhere in California. Tattoos were everywhere. And we're talking like a while ago, right? So I'm in my 40s. This is when I was 18. And it was everywhere. My best friend got a little butterfly tattoo on her ankle at the same time I did. I was noticing it on guys and girls. And it just seemed to be kind of like an explosion of a trend. Now, I moved to Australia in 2003 from California. And I remember when I first came over here and I didn't really see tattoos on anybody except for, convicts and people that were like the bikies or the bikers as we call them bikies over here in Australia. You'd see them on those people, right? And you didn't see them on teenagers and you didn't see them in like 20-somethings like I was used to in California in the States. Now, that was when I first came over here. Now, suddenly it seems like in the past 10 years, it's everywhere in Australia as well, too. My 20-year-old stepson is lined up for his third tattoo. He's only 20. He's actually going to get a consult this weekend. I think it's this weekend or early next week with the artist to talk through the third piece, the masterpiece of art that he's going to get on his body for his tattoo. So here's why I'm telling you all these stories or this backstory about tattoos. Well, first of all, they're addictive, right? If you have one, you know. Secondly, I do have two. I am going to get one of them fixed up. But thirdly, I see them everywhere. Everywhere. Is that because they actually are everywhere? Or is it because I'm now looking for them? Have a think about that. So, question for you. Have you heard of something called the Reticular Activating System? Or your ass, as we commonly call it in the personal development industry. The Reticular Activating System. So what it is, the RAS is a bundle of nerves at our brain stem, and it regulates sleep and awake time, basically. Some people sort of in the personal development, neuroscience fields also believe it filters out unnecessary information, so the important stuff gets in to our brains. And then we basically help to choose what that information is. We can be more hands-on with what we choose our brain to focus on. So, for example, picture the last time you were at a conference or you were at a party with a lot of people. There's a crowd full of conversations all around you, lots of noise. Yet immediately you snap to attention when someone says your name or a name that sounds similar to your name. There's a lot of activity going on around you. So how is it that your brain can work out how to tune in to that word? Also, you might be learning a new word, or it's a new slang word. I'm constantly surrounded by new slang words with my two stepsons, 20, just kind of introduced you to Reese there. And then we have the other one, Curtis. They're always bringing home new slang words. And suddenly, I hear it and then I tend to hear it everywhere, right? So think about that. Maybe there's a word or jargon or something that you're learning in your field of study, and now suddenly you feel like you hear that word everywhere. Or maybe you're thinking about buying your next car and you've researched the make and the model and the color and what you want. And guess what? Suddenly you see the car everywhere. You're on your neighborhood walks, or at least I do sometimes, and you see the cars parked everywhere on the side of the road. You see them in the traffic wherever you're going. That, some might say, would be your ass in full-blown example of how it works. So I first learned about the Reticular Activating System when I worked for Tony Robbins, the motivational speaker, or inspirational speaker, as he would say. I worked for him back in the day in San Diego for a few years, and I found it really fascinating when I first heard about it, because he talked about it a great deal back then. And then there's other people out there that talk about it a lot now too. The way I think of it is this: what you focus on, you get. What you focus on, you get. So if you care about positivity, for example, you will become more aware of positivity, and you'll look for that in different situations in your life. Same goes for negativity, right? Maybe that's you. Maybe you're having a time in your life right now with your business where you're stressed out and overwhelmed, and everything just seems really hard or really difficult, really negative, and you're spiraling into that sort of way of seeing the world. One other thing I want to leave you with is this. So maybe, just maybe, if you focus on overwhelm, then perhaps that is also what you'll become aware of and seek out. So, in the future going ahead, day to day in your business, what do you want more of? Remember, what you focus on is what you get, regardless of if you believe in the reticular activating system at work. There's definitely a lot of examples out there that prove that what you pay attention to, you start to notice more of. So, guys, little challenge for you. What do you want more of in your life or business? Start focusing on that. And as always, thank you so much for tuning in. It means the world to me, no matter how you're tuning into this podcast, whether it's on YouTube. By the way, we are on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever else you're listening to this podcast. Please let me know what you think. Pop me a review, leave me a comment. And I'd love to know from you as well. Do you ever experience RAS in action? Do you even believe in it as well? And until next time, have a fantastic rest of your week and do your best to bring more joy into your life. Thank you guys. Talk soon. Bye.